So, good morning to all students. I am Deepika Saraswat. I am your teacher for your subject CS 305, which is Object Oriented Programming and Methodology. So, first of all, students, I welcome you all in the new session July December 2020. And here I have a video for you which is totally related with the some introductory note about the subject and a very basic and overview of the subjects. As students, we are seeing on the screen. This is our Unit One approach, and our Unit One, which is its name is Introduction to Object Oriented Programming and Methodology. So students, in this unit, we'll firstly start about the approach that what is object-oriented programming. So before going to directly with the object-oriented programming, first we just understand about the thing that why we need this approach. So in this video, we'll just take a look simply on about the object-oriented thinking. So this video is totally related with the approach in which we'll consider about that what are those contents by which we can complete the object-oriented environments. Because if we talk about the object-oriented, it means it's a kind of programming environment, it's a kind of programming approach by which we just create a programming environment and with the number of contents which are usable in an object-oriented approach. So if we consider about some outlines that we'll cover up in this video, so there are some basic outlines. The first, if we talk about some prerequisites about this topic, some prerequisites of the topic. Second, we'll discuss about objective, that what is the aim and objective of this topic. Next, we'll consider about a topic which is name is object-oriented programming, basic terminology. It means what are those basic terminology on which we'll discuss. Now, next we'll consider about a thinking approach which is known as object-oriented thinking. Next, we'll consider very basic two terms in here related with object-oriented programming. The first is classes and the second one is objects. So students, here we are seeing that there are very basics approach we'll use here. Now students, first of all, we'll move to the first point, which is some prerequisites of topic. As we have discussed, there are some points which I want to cover up in this PPT. But the very basic prerequisites that always should be in your mind, which is your programming concepts. Means if you are very much familiar about the concepts of C++ or any of the object-oriented language, because object-oriented programming approach is used in so many languages. So here in our subjects, we'll discuss in the language which is C++. So here we'll consider the concept of C++ and we'll just take all the concepts of C++ according to the environment of object-oriented programming. So first of all, in our mind, we always should be very much familiar about the basic concepts of C++. Similarly, we should be very much familiar about the basic concepts of procedural oriented programming and designing, which is sometimes known as top to bottom approach. So all these things we should be in our known. As we have some points, just like we should have the knowledge about some syntaxes rules, some coding styles, that what are the rules and regulation of coding we'll follow here. So the basic thing we should know about it. The next we should know about some control statements, some conditional approaches also here. Some we should know about some approaches like control structures of looping environment. Some methods and constructs approach we should also follow in here. And it should be very much known about the differences between that, what's the motive of class, what's the instances. So all these things that we should be in our mind. If any student is very much known about all these things, so it's very much capable to understand the term object oriented programming. Now, students, if we talk about objective of this term object oriented programming or thinking, so it's only one objective is that that it's totally the problem is totally related with real world problems. So we can be say that it's the real world problem that can be accurately described and as a collection of objects that interacts. So here we can create number of objects with the help of the data and data structures here. And with the help of these objects, we just try to interact our whole program. Because in object oriented programming, our whole program is divided in number of modules, and each and every module is interacted and related with each other. So in this approach, we'll try to interact with our modules and with the number of objects that are able in our module. Now, next approach, there are some basics, we can say some basics approach of object oriented programming. So there are some basic contents of object oriented programming that's in our mind. The first, there always should be a object which always have all kinds of data structure in itself, and it is the only one we can say it's only one module which is responsible to provide the connection between the number of module. Now the second one is method. Method means a perspective or designing terminology by which we'll follow the term object oriented. The next we'll follow the property, or we can say attributes. So these all properties or attributes which are comes from the class. Property or attributes, it means there are number of data members or what kind of member function we'll use. The another one which is class here. So class, it means we contain number of datas and data codes by which we can manipulate the data code, and we can say the entire set of the data and code of an object can be made with that it's a user defined data type, and with the help of this user defined data type class, all kinds of data structure is maintained in a particular class. So students, this is some basics terminology that we'll use here. Now one more thing that always should be in our mind, which is what is object oriented thinking. Thinking means why we use that term and why we use that approach. So if we talk about object oriented programming, so it's a kind of concepts, we can say, and it's not a fixed approach for a particular language, and we can say it's a very much dynamic approach, and that approach can be used in number of languages also, just like C++, Java, Python, MATLAB. So in so many environments, different environments, we can follow this approach. So we can say it's not a particular fixed module. We can say it's a kind of program designing philosophy. Next, we can also say that it's uses the different sets of programming languages. So here everything that depend on object here, because without creating any object, the class is not work. Because the purpose of object is to interact all the data which we clear in our module, which we design in our class module. So object will call all these data. So object is very much compulsory point here. Now, the next important thinking term, which is the reusability. So if we think according to the developer and according to the point of view of the developer or designer, So that approach is only a construct to maintain the concept of reusability. Because if we talk about a large number of problem and a large number of real world environment, any problem, where the code, it may be 1,000 lines of code and 500 lines of code, it means a big line of code is here. So we just want to reuse the code in our program. So to just reuse the code in our program, so that that code can be interact in a next module, because we have divided our program in number of modules. We can say number of classes we can also maintain here. That thing we'll discuss later, that what are the types of classes and all. So we just focus here only the concept reusability. So reusability is the concept in which number of code can be reused in a number of modules interactively. And the last we can say depends on working by operations and methods. Obviously, if we are working on a number of different modules and different environments, it means we are working with different kinds of terminology, which is known as operations. So this is all about the term that why we called it's object oriented. Now here we'll discuss two important points, which is classes and the objects. So first of all, if we talk about the classes and objects, so the very basic question should be in our mind, that what terms we should discuss first, the class or the objects. So I think these both terms are related to each other. So if we talk about the class, it's a kind of data structure, we can say, and it's an environment in which we manage number of data sets in it, and we manage number of data values. We can say data member function in this environment. Now the next, if we talk about object, so we can say object is a kind of value or a kind of variable, which name is known as instance. So we can say an object is an instance of a class, and with the help of this object we just call all the functions of the classes, and we just call all the data members and member function of the classes. So we can say this is very much basic things about the classes and objects. And students, in our next video, which is video number 2, lecture number 2, we'll truly discuss about the terms classes and objects, and with some basic features of object oriented programming. Now, if we talk about some learning outcomes of this video and of this topic, so we can say it's a totally, that environment is totally related with some applications and some technological applications here. And students, in this video, I just try to solve about the terms object oriented only, that what is object and why it is known as object oriented. Object oriented, it means each and everything, each and every coding which is related to the object here. So whenever we create a class, it is very much need to maintain a class with the help of the object, because without calling any object, our concept is not complete. So students, in this video, I just try to arrange the things, and I just try to give us a small overview to you about the subject. And then in the next video that we'll discuss, and in this video we'll discuss about some features of object oriented programming and methodologies in detail. So students, here I have some references here, in which I just always take a reference of book of object oriented programming and methodology, which is E. Balaguruswamy. And I just suggest to you all that always keep this book with you, either in a hard copy manner or in a soft copy manner. And this book is very much beneficial for you. So I suggest you that always use these books and its practical approach also. So students, thank you so much. I hope you just understand about the term object oriented and the purpose of using and solving these subjects. So thank you so much students. We'll just meet in the next session with the next topic of object oriented programming features. Thank you so much.